Hello, friends at home. I am sitting here with all of your lovely friends in the classroom. Friends in the classroom, say hello.
Hi.
And we are getting ready to do today's language arts. If you have your white folder at home, you can take out this page. It says Fix It Up Sentence About Pumpkins. And the first thing I do is always the same. I take out my pencil and write down my name. Remember, it is second quarter now. It is so important that we be using our best handwriting, friends, that we practice using uppercase letters for our first letter, lowercase letters for the rest of our letters, and that we work really hard to make our handwriting look nice in all of our work. So we have been learning about writing complete sentences, and we know that there are certain things that we must have in order for a sentence to be a real complete sentence. Raise your hand if you can think of one of the things that we have to have in order for it to be a real sentence. Drew. I like carving pumpkins is a real sentence, but what do we need at the beginning of I like to carve pumpkins, Drew? Uppercase. So in order for it to be a sentence, it has to start with an uppercase. So I'm going to make a little, we'll call it a cheat sheet, a little reminder sheet here of the things that we need to be looking for. So we need to make sure that there's an uppercase letter at the beginning of our sentence. Okay, what is another thing it has to have? Sage. An end mark. There has to be some kind of end mark, whether it's a period or an exclamation point or a question mark. If we don't have an end mark, it's not a sentence. Beckett, what else does it need?
It has to make sense.
It has to make sense. If I read it and it says Uben, Globen, Gleben, Gluben, if it doesn't make sense, even if it has all the things it needs, like an uppercase letter and a period, it's not a sentence. So it has to make sense. And then Ava June, what's the other thing that we have to have in order for it to be a complete sentence? Whoops. What's the other thing it has to have? A space between the words, right? We have to have spaces between our words. And I call it a finger space because your finger is like the perfect size to fit between. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at each of these sentences, and the person that wrote them down made some mistakes. So we're going to fix those mistakes and then write the sentence correctly on the line. So I'm going to zoom in to sentence number 1, and it says, I like pumpkins. Well, it makes sense, so we've got that part down, but they made a few mistakes. What's the first mistake they made, Faith? Yeah, they forgot to put an uppercase I. Not right now. What's another mistake that they made, Isaac? It doesn't have what?
It doesn't have a question mark.
It doesn't have an end mark, right? So right here, we need to put a period. I like pumpkins. Now, it has spaces between the words, but does anybody notice anything about the word like that's a mistake? Austin?
The L is uppercase, and it should be lowercase.
Yeah, they have an uppercase L in the middle of a sentence, and we know that's a big no-no. So now that we fixed all the mistakes, on the line here, we're going to write that sentence correctly. So we'll start by giving it the uppercase letter I. Then we'll put our space, and we'll give like the lowercase letter for like. We'll put our space and write pumpkins. And this time we won't forget to put our end mark at the end of the sentence. So now, I like pumpkins is written correctly. It's a complete sentence. Let's take a look now at number 2. Who can read number 2 for me? Victoria? Do you like pumpkins? Does anyone see anything wrong with the sentence? Do you like pumpkins? Ava June? The D needs to be uppercase. Excellent. We have to begin with an uppercase letter. What do you see, Blake?
There's no end mark.
There's no end mark. And this one's a question, right? Do you like pumpkins? So we need to put our question mark in there. Blake, you need to mask up. What else is wrong with this sentence, Victoria? The thing like. Help her out.
I forgot what it's called.
Beckett, help her out.
The Y is uppercase.
Yeah, the Y is uppercase in the middle of a sentence, and we can't have uppercase letters in the middle of a sentence unless it's a proper noun. All right, so now we can rewrite the sentence. We'll make sure that the uppercase D, and then our finger space, a lowercase y for you, finger space like. Do you like, and then pumpkins, and this time we won't forget to put our end mark, and in this case, because it's a question, we're putting a question mark. Do you like pumpkins? We're going to do one more together, and then you'll do the last three on your own. So let's take a look at number 3. And walk me through it, friends. What is wrong with this sentence? Read it out loud, Amelia. How big is your pumpkin? All right, tell me what's wrong with it, Mateo. It doesn't start with an uppercase, so we need to make sure we start it with an uppercase. What else is wrong with it, Victoria? Yeah, that I should be lowercase in the middle of a sentence. Good eyes. What else, Drew?
The end mark.
Yeah, we need an end mark. And this one's a question. How big is your pumpkin? So we need to add a question mark. So now, how big is your pumpkin? We can rewrite it, but we'll make sure we write it correctly. So we'll give it an uppercase H. How, and then a finger space. Big, finger space, remember a lowercase I is, finger space, your, finger space, pumpkin, and we'll make sure we don't forget to add our end mark, which is a question mark. So now, friends, I want you on your own to do the next 3 sentences. I will leave this up on the board for you so that you can do the first 3 modeled sentences that we did together, and then you can do the last 3 on your own. Friends at home, if you just pause the video right now, you'll be able to keep this up on your screen while you work through the rest of these on your own. Okay? Goodbye, friends at home.
Bye.